Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning. Oh, that's not my line. My line is welcome to Like It or Not, where we're free to tell the truth.
And not care who doesn't like it.
Who doesn't?
Oh, sorry.
James, no. It's right, James. Actually, James, I actually prefer if you start the morning off, because just the good morning is what I need to hear when we start off. So I say, let's do it again. Like, okay, so the intro just played. And
it's going to be James who says good morning.
Actually, no, let's run the intro one more time. We're going to get it right. James, you say good morning, because it's much better when you start us off. Here we go. Dwayne, run that intro one more again.
And wait, Ben, what's your line, Ben, again?
You gonna say don't do my line. Do your line.
Okay, no, you're gonna do yours. Perfect. Yours is gonna be good morning. Then he's gonna say welcome to Like It or Not, where we free to tell the truth. And
there we go. Okay.
Not care who doesn't like it.
I like it. Hey. Let's go.
We so stupid. Go ahead. There it is. Right. Oh, here we go. Let's be professional here, guys.
Like It or Not with Benjamin Dixon starts now.
Good morning, everybody.
Hey, as I'm talking about, Bubba Jakes is in the house. I'm serious, man. When you say that, I feel like I could go on and see what the end gonna be, man. I feel like the morning's a little bit brighter when you do that, man. Good morning, Rebecca. How you doing this morning?
He still didn't do it right, but okay. We're doing all right this morning. I'm doing really good this morning. I'm a bit tired, but I'm here.
We are improvising because of some internet issues, and it's not on our end. It's something going on with one of our providers here. Restream, get your stuff together, but I digress. We're recording this episode, and we want you to participate in it anyway. So still leave your comments in the comment section. Still hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We have a couple of guests coming on today that we really want to talk with and share that information with you. What else are we looking at in the meantime? Rebecca, how was your weekend?
My weekend, what was my weekend? I just been really, really tired.
Yes.
And I am just kind of calibrating my mind. And I needed that this weekend, even though my mama was running my phone up, daddy was running my phone up, because they like me to do things for them. So even though I'm way up here. So but I tried to get some rest.
Family.
Yeah, I tried to get some rest, but you know what I did? Because it's always a story. I drank the ZQL, and
how much?
I drank the cup.
Oh, okay. When you say drink, I'm thinking you did some.
Oh no, I wasn't like on that. No, I don't do that. I don't abuse drugs.
Lean.
On that lean, right?
There's no lean. But I drank that to get some rest. And because, I be in my thoughts sometimes. So on this particular evening, I just could not. That ZQL is not good. It says non-habit forming, and it's not going to irritate you. But I was up like this, and then eyes was just like droopy. I'm so tired.
You drank too much.
Maybe because I'm so tired, I want to go to sleep, but my thoughts are winning this over. I need something to be able to help me just sleep. I needed to go to sleep. Finally, I went to sleep at 3 a.m. and
this morning
woke up at 6:30 the next day, and I was like, let me just work out. Worked out with I just felt so drowsy. I hate that. So I'm not gonna do that. Yeah. ZQL usually works for me, and this was the kind I got from Delartre.
Yeah. Well, I do abuse drugs. No, not for real.
Wait, hold on, pause. From where, Rebecca?
Delartre.
For those that don't know what that is Dollar Tree.
I just realized what we were just dealing with. I just realized. Yeah. Dwayne, you got to make sure people hear you, because they gonna think the three of us are off. We just randomly start laughing with our technical director in our ear cracking jokes.
I'm glad that he didn't say that on air. But anywho, no, it's Delartre. It's Delartre. It's like when people go to Target,
Target.
When you walk up in Dollar Tree. you really feel like you about to really blow a bag. Like you about to go in there and spend all you got and make it right back.
Dollar Tree, okay.
Dollar Tree.
$5. I spend all you got. $5. Coming out rich.
So this is like part 2 of the episode. Like, and I really hope that our conversation about Joe Biden was at least salvageable, because I don't know. I mean, we could always talk about it again, but we've already said what we needed to say about the negligence, the neglect of this administration already when it comes to their promises. We're not going to relitigate that. We have so many other stories to cover, but I want to make sure that it's on the record. Go watch the version that's on YouTube right now, because we need people to understand we do not have time to waste hoping that this administration is going to do the right thing. We got to bring the hammer down and demand that they do the right thing. That said, there's so many other stories that we have to cover. We have an interview coming up with Nabilah Islam. She's going to be joining us momentarily. And then we've got, there's just news everywhere out of Texas. Rebecca and James, like the stories coming out of Texas are horror stories. I mean, it's just too much for me to actually, for anybody to process how much our leaders don't really care about these families that are freezing to death, literally. So anyway, not to bring everything down, but it's the reality. Like, there's a lot of people who are hurting in Texas right now. And it just seems to be on one side of the equation, you have Republicans who went to Cancun. Then you have Rick Perry, who's like, people don't want the government in their business. But then on the other side of the equation, you have families who are dying. And then on the Democratic side of the aisle, like, you know, where is the leadership? Where's the leadership? Only leadership I saw so far has been from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. What have you seen?
That's literally, and I mean, the only leadership that I've seen as well. I've also seen leadership from people who are just like me. Like, I have a friend who lives in Atlanta. Shouts out to E. Mackey, who decided to get in his car and drive over to get a lot of groceries, go on live. Basically, a lot of people were sending in money as he was on live for him to get groceries to take over to Texas. So he's risking his own life by going over to Texas, or risk his own life to go over to Texas and help the people there. Yeah. Those people are more leaders than the people that you guys voted into office. So, and I'm not talking about you guys on the screen, but I'm talking about America in general, the people that you guys voted into office. So it doesn't surprise me. Right. I just think that now we're kind of looking at it we've taken off the rose-colored glasses. We've taken off, we took off the muzzles that they put on our mouths, that we couldn't speak or we couldn't say nothing against these people. But thank God for social media. Sometimes I can't stand it, but this is the one thing that I do love about social media, because we will attack. And I believe that it is our job to hold them accountable, as we just discussed. If we're not doing that, then we're going to get the same thing that we've had for years and years and years and years and years. And I don't have any kids yet, but I ain't about to drop no egg. Okay. I ain't about to drop no big head baby in this world, in this America, with this kind of leadership. I'm just not.
Right.
That's wisdom. James, it sounds like you better get there, bro.
Because, just about to say, because then you got other organizations in Texas like Beyonce's Be Good Foundation that have stepped up and even helped. So why is it taking Ted's ass so long to try to do something?
Yeah.
So
and then when he finally shows up, what we say? You say in the Kmart parking lot and grab the first three people. Ted Cruz
grabbed minority person and held them by the elbow, because it looks like when you're holding them right there by the elbow,
right? It's the elbow.
It gives
thing.
that look of relation and compassion and love and care. But actually, you had somebody, listen, we're gonna pull up with the damn 24 pack. Let me look like I'm getting it up out of somebody's car. I don't even know whose car this is. Look, go ahead and take this picture, because they said I wasn't
struggling with that water.
He was struggling.
Too.
They didn't even have a pallet of water. He had he literally had 24 packs of water and tried to make it seem like he was doing some charitable good. Like, seriously.
I mean, and since we're talking about it right now, I want, since we just covered the story, can we pull up that tweet real quick?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah.
We literally just covered it.
This man is a clown.
Yeah, so he's definitely a clown. And the way that he was leaning over in the cars and trying to act like I've been here, I'm here for the people. Then go hashtag Texas strong as I wait for that media to pull up. Then go hashtag Texas strong. It's not Texas strong.
Right.
It's like it's not.
It's
Ted
cover
Cruz
your ass.
being there. That's what it is. It's cover your behind. And this is here it is. It's and Josh Marshall writes back, "Sir, generous of you to help put the water AOC brought into the cars." And look, this is nothing though, you guys. We did a really good job. We did a really good job in dragging Ted Cruz from the time that he made it to the airport to the time that he got to Cancun, realized I can't even unpack. Dang, these people out here trying me. They won't even let me live, bruh. We dragged him back to America. We dragged him back to America to this parking lot that he's in right now with about 2 people. Yeah.
Oh man,
yeah.
it has been.
It's too late.
Too late, Ted.
It's definitely too late.
It's too late, and it's we're laughing, but the truth is like, these are our leaders, because that's Ted Cruz, right? But I do want to know, like, where's everybody else? Where's everybody else before the crisis? Because shout out to AOC, I think they raised $5 million to help with the relief effort. They had to raise it on GoFundMe. The real question is where are all the leaders before these crises happen, right? Why are we having to do relief efforts through GoFundMe? Because even now, those dollars, amazing. Salute to her and the entire team of people who did that, right? But if we don't start thinking ahead, there are going to be more dead bodies and we're going to be doing more fundraisers. Can we fix problems before people die? That's my question, right? Can we actually address these things before? There's a grandmother and her 3 grandchildren died in their apartment this weekend from this entire snow, not this weekend, but from this entire freeze in Texas. And that's just one story. The only person who survived was the mother. Can you imagine? Can you imagine losing your mother and your children and you be the lone survivor? So the amount of support that Texas is getting right now it's cool, good, we need it. But damn it, we got to address these issues before people keep dying because of our negligence.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny that you mentioned GoFundMe. Even GoFundMe put out a post and said, this was never supposed to be created for us to help get humanity back in order, like for us to help in crises, for us to start stepping up where leadership is not. This was not what GoFundMe was created for, but here we are doing this anyway. And that's a shame on our leaders. It was basically calling out the leaders and in America itself and why they aren't helping people. Right. They aren't helping their people survive. They aren't covering, they aren't protecting, they aren't feeding, they don't care.
They don't.
The pandemic showed one thing, and then it opened a whole Pandora's box, right? For real. Yeah. And we're over here in Texas, and we did not know that this was going to be a thing. We did not know that a winter storm was going to literally crush it like they did, crush some parts of Texas to a place where it's unrecognizable. And people this is not even a joke. Right. People were freezing to death. A man froze to death in his recliner. Okay. We have a mother and child, an infant, who died because she was snowed in and she needed to get her baby warm. So she decided to turn on her car inside of the garage. That was her last resort. And she died with the baby. Right. And then the story of you telling me the mother and the 2 kids, the grandmother and 2 kids, like people are passing away. People passed away. They were snowed in. He decided to cut off the energy, the light, the electricity, but like McDonald's up the street was still rolling. Help it make sense for me. There's
only one way for it to make sense, and is that we have to realize that they don't give a damn about us. They literally don't. And it's just the sad, it's the truth. The truth is that they care more about these corporations' money. They care more about these corporations and their wealth. That's why they would keep the power on to some raggedy fast food joint and cut the power off. I mean, and Downtown, the downtown areas were lit up, but the communities had no power. And the thing is that this is just the beginning, right? Climate change is about to really show us how much this system don't care about us. Now, listen, we talk about this all the time, and I'm gonna be honest with you. The solution is that we just gotta save ourselves, folks. We can't look to this government to help us anymore. I mean, we can't even get Joe Biden to simply sign his hand on an executive order canceling all the student loan debt. Right? The easiest thing that could be done. We can't even get them to send us $1,400. Everybody's expectation is now going down from $2,000 to $1,400. We still waiting on the $1,400. People are in bread lines are empty.
It's coming. Yeah. It's like, are we gonna get it? Because it's coming. It's supposed to come in March, but it's like in March. Like that's my Soulja Boy voice. March. Like
March?
No. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense because when you got into office, that should have been immediate, right? Yeah. All that talk you were doing, the thing that you said that you like, all those things, it really goes to show that I'm about to say, but y'all ain't black. These people be lying. They be lying. Men lie, women lie. Men, Joe Biden, women, Kamala, excuse me, like. Y'all lie. Everybody lie. So
I'm laughing because I know exactly what you were about to say, Rebecca. Go ahead.
Yeah. So this is why I'm like, this doesn't make any sense for people to continuously make excuses. I get so frustrated when I hear you guys saying, do you not know what 1,400 plus 600 is? Do you not know what kiss my black behind means? Do you not know? Because he used the words immediate, not me.
Right.
He used the amount $2,000, not me.
Come on.
He's the one that said he's going to halt deportations, not me. Okay? He's the one that gave the number 50K for student loans, not me. Not me. So stop making the excuses for Joe Biden. And please, somebody tell me where Kamala Harris is. Somebody tell me.
Where
in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
That's where she at.
Where the money reside. Where the money reside. That's it. We're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be speaking with Nabilah Islam. She is a dynamic activist and organizer here in the state of Georgia, and we'll discuss not only her activism but also the shenanigans from Republicans in the state of Georgia. We'll be back with more Like It or Not after this.
Why we was twerking when the money reside? We so black. Like, that's terrible. How is it automatically like...
I could really use a change of scenery. Yeah, everybody smoking all the green.
Shout out to everybody that's in the chat room. We may not be loud, but I'm still gonna use some love and some joy, y'all. Hope y'all enjoying your happy Monday, y'all. This is the next episode of Like It or Not. Make sure that you hit that like button and also make sure that you subscribe so we always know when we're going down. All right, y'all.
I could be a hater like you.
She came in so loud too, Dwayne.
But that poison's gonna kill you. From the inside out. So right now,
this is Rebel Day.
I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time to ride it out.
All right, y'all make sure that you download the Voices app so you always know what's going on. Make sure that you share your media, your pictures, your photos, your videos, and be on the episode of Like It or Not. Might get on the camera, on the screen, give you some screen time. Shout out to the Lions Den that's in the building joining us this morning, y'all. We see y'all a little bit. Rebecca's in love with this song.
Make the man, but that poison's gonna kill you from the inside out. It's time to say it with your chest now. Say it with your chest now.
Yeah, he is running all over in this song.
Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time. It's my time. time to ride. I'm young, I'm free. Can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to ride it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's your time, oh. If you're on the bus, say yeah, yeah. If you're on the train, say yeah, yeah. If you gotta walk, say yeah, yeah. Everybody's going somewhere, yeah. Young or old, I really don't care, yeah. Life has never really been fair, yeah. So put your fist up in the air, yeah. Say yeah. I'm free. Can't nobody.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Rebel Day. Hope you enjoyed it. Now, some more like it or not. Here's our brother Benjamin Dixon.
Welcome back. Joining us now is Nabilah Islam. She is a Georgian, and she is a former Democratic Party candidate to represent Georgia's 7th Congressional District. In August, Ms. Islam was chosen to head Muslim American PAC. Nabilah, thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to speak to you specifically because I've noticed that I don't really have candidates on my shows. But you ran for Congress and you didn't win, but you kept fighting, like almost immediately. You kept fighting for those same causes. And that's when I was like, you know what? Yeah, I love to see people who are not in it just for those victories, but they're in it for the fight. Would you just tell us about your race and the causes that you're fighting for?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, thanks so much for having me on the show. And I am a fighter, and just because I lost doesn't mean I'm going to give up on my community. I ran for Congress last cycle, so from February 2019 through the pandemic, actually, until June 9th. So for 16 months, I ran in Georgia's 7th Congressional District. It's one of the most diverse districts in America, and it had been represented by Republicans for about my entire life. And it was actually, it ended up being the only district in the entire country that flipped from a Republican to a Democratic seat. But when I did run for Congress, I ran on policies that were going to be transformational for my community. I ran without health care, and about 20% of my district doesn't have health care. As I mentioned, I live in one of the most diverse districts in America. We account for about 20% of the of people being detained in detention centers in the entire country because of archaic immigration laws. And it's been just tragic. It was a working class district. So I ran on Medicare for all, raising the minimum wage to at least $15, and having more progressive immigration laws that would help our community. And at the time, no one else was running on these progressive policies. But towards the end, people started to see why we needed policies like that to actually uplift our community, especially when the pandemic happened and, tens of thousands of people lost their jobs. And because of that, they lost their health care. More folks really understood why these policies are needed, especially right now.
Yeah. And here in Georgia was so pivotal in 2020, not only for Joe Biden, but also for Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock and for the Democratic Party in general, but the nation in general. A lot to be held accountable for in terms of what they're actually doing with the victory Georgia gave them. But in response, on the Republican side of the aisle, they've introduced numerous bills which would limit voting in many ways. And so it's their reaction to the organizing that happened on the ground, because truth be told, Georgia was won not on behalf of Joe Biden, not on behalf of Raphael Warnock or Jon Ossoff. It was won on behalf of the organizers on the ground, a community I know that you're a part of. But Republicans have seen that, and now they're trying to actively work against our ability to have a fair shot in this election system. Tell us about what you're seeing in Georgia in terms of the Republican backlash.
So when Republicans can't win on policies, they need to cheat in order to win. And it's really disgraceful. They know what they're doing. This is no longer dog whistle. They are blatantly going out there. For example, my Gwinnett County chairwoman of the election board said out in the open that we need to do whatever we can to make sure that, these folks aren't voting because we need to ensure Republican victories. I mean, that's disgusting. Now in the Georgia legislature, they're trying to get rid of no excuse absentee ballot voting. You need to have an ID, license number in order to request an absentee ballot. I mean, Republicans were the ones that implemented absentee ballot vote, no excuse absentee ballot voting 16 years ago. And because they had traditionally benefited them, and it wasn't until the pandemic hit that Democrats actually started to have the habit of voting via absentee ballot, whether it was the primary, the general, and then the runoff. And so, Republicans see the writing on the wall, and this is clear voter suppression. And we should be making it easier for people to exercise their constitutional right to vote, not harder. So it's just, it's disgusting. They're trying to get rid of illegal voting. Like, we didn't have any proof of that during any of the elections. And so, I mean, this is just, they're being lazy. Like, they're being complacent. Go actually try to win your voters. Go court them. And they're actually disenfranchising their own voters in order to suppress our votes. So it's just really disappointing.
Now, Nabilah, I know you were running and you ran without health insurance, as you talked about, and you did petition the Federal Election Commission to use those funds to get health insurance. Could you tell us a little bit about that process?
So there are structural barriers, to run for higher level office, just office period, because you got to run full time in order to give your community the attention it deserves and be competitive, especially in these primaries that have, millionaires. And if you look at Congress today, over half of them are millionaires, and that doesn't reflect the economic diversity of America today. And so to get rid of at least one of the structural barriers, I did petition the FEC to have an opinion on allowing working class candidates to be able to pay for healthcare with their campaign funds. And so we put that together. It made a lot of noise because a lot of folks didn't understand like how bad this was for candidates that come from, middle class backgrounds, that working class backgrounds. That's why, we're not represented at the table. Because it's so hard for us to get there in the first place. You have to forego income in order to campaign, in order to give your community a voice, and not everyone has that luxury. So, I got an election attorney. We drafted a petition. I submitted it, but because I did not win my race, they kind of folded it. But that's not to say that I'm not picking that back up this year and trying to make it happen. So stay tuned because I think we're going to see some big changes come about.
No, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's interesting that you say stay tuned because so you as a woman, you as a minority, you running in Georgia in a place that's usually red, right? How was that for you? What were the other struggles that you experienced? And you are a millennial as well. So how was that experience for you?
It was interesting. I mean, people are going to tell you got to wait your turn. Like, I was 29 when I announced. My name is Nabilah Islam. I had people that I should change my name if I want to be more electable.
Wow.
I had people tell me that my progressive policies were not what Georgia wanted, even though it's what we clearly need. I was called a terrorist. I was told if I don't keep my tone down, they're going to put me in a camp. I was told that, they're going to deport me. Like, a lot of things come your way and people will deter you. I had people, elected officials call me up on the phone and be like, look, you seem like you have a promising career, but maybe you should run for state house and drop out now. This is after I raised like $200,000. And these were like, not people of color that were telling me this. I was like, this is a minority majority district and you're telling me to drop out when I'm the only one that grew up here. I was like, so like, I think a lot of those things, but I'm really glad I ran. For a possibility to exist, you have to create it. And, I told people all the time, my story is not unique. I'm the daughter of working class Bangladeshi immigrants. My mom broke her back by working at a warehouse for 14 years. She lifted boxes and put them on trucks. My dad was a file clerk for 30 years at the IRS. He filed papers. I'm the first person in my family to graduate from college. Candidates like me don't happen. And that's because of the rhetoric that I just told you about that surrounded me. But I'm really glad I ran because I got to tell a story that usually doesn't get told. And a lot of people saw themselves in my candidacy.
Yeah. And it's good. Your story is very important because I don't think you understand that you even sharing that, a lot of people are going to look at that, me, myself, and still want to push. Even after you lost, the fact that you want to push is something big. You understood that I'm going to get into this space and people are going to look at me like either I'm too young, I'm not qualified, I'm a terrorist, right? Because that's what the rhetoric that America has already built for people that look like you. And, your name, change your name. You're not good enough. But you stood in that and you continue to run and you pushed the barriers and you made it uncomfortable for them. And that's what I love about your story. And it's good that you shared it because trust me, a lot of people are going to listen to this story and be like, yo, that's mine too. I feel that, or I can continue to, or step into these spaces and run myself. So thank you for that.
Nabilah, let me ask you, you said something in there that was pretty dope. You've been saying a whole lot of dope stuff, but you said for a possibility to exist, you have to create it. Could you just, forget politics for a second. Let's throw all that. Tell me about that thought and where did that come from?
I took a bunch of life classes when I was young. So I did this thing called Landmark Forum actually when I was 17 years old. But basically, it's really taught me that if you want to do something in your life, no one's going to do it for you. You need to create that possibility yourself. And it's not going to exist unless you create it, unless you put it out in the world. There could have been, before I ran for office, there was someone that I respected that told me I shouldn't run. And I almost listened to him. And I was like, maybe I shouldn't do it. I'm really glad I did because look what happened. I created this powerful campaign. I'm petitioning the FEC right now. Yeah. I've been able to give my a community a greater voice at the table. And I'm so glad that I did it. And also sharing is becoming. And because I shared my story, people felt like they saw themselves in me. And to this day, I have little girls that call me up, South Asian little girls, or just little girls, period. And they say, because you ran, I think I can do it too. And I didn't win, but that to me, it felt like winning 100%.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. You're going to win this next one, right? You're going to win this next one because you haven't stopped. And you dropping gems. So we're going to help you win. We all enjoy it. We're going to help you win this next one. I want you to come back as often as you're able to come back and just keep dropping all of those gems that you just dropped because we both just wrote down what you just said.
Listen, sharing is becoming, sweetie. I got that right here because when we get off, it's going to be on Twitter. Okay, yep. Listen, I know what you mean. We took those classes, those life lessons, and we applied them. And I can definitely see that with you. And you are every little girl's dream. Even people that look like you and who are walking in your same walk, the girls who are in your same age group, women all across the world, people who feel like they can't make it, your story is necessary. And we're going to push you, girl. Yeah. We are going to push you and we want you to win. And we put that in the atmosphere, receive it, girl.
Do this one thing. Tell us or tell the audience, one, how they can get up with you, and two, how they can participate in whatever you're organizing at this present moment.
Sure. You guys can follow me on Twitter. I'm pretty active there. It's Nabilah for GA07. I have a organization called Turnout Democrats that did extensive work during the primary runoff. And so we are relaunching our cycle plan for this year. So we'll let people know how you can get involved. And I'll be posting that on Twitter. But we're going to make sure that we stay focused in Georgia and make sure we reelect Warnock and get rid of Purdue, even though he's trying to come back, and hopefully elect a new governor, Stacey Abrams.
Absolutely. And as well as elect a new congressperson from the 7th District of Georgia by the name of Nabilah Islam. We're going to be working on that as well. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we'll be speaking with Chuck Modiano about his activism and his work in the D.C. area and his journalism and using journalism as a tool for activism. We'll be back with more Like It or Not after this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much, Nabilah Islam. We greatly appreciate you for being here this morning. And we are going to do everything we can to make sure that you get that seat in that office, all right? Hope everybody's enjoying the show thus far, y'all. Like it or not, it's going down. Shout out to the Lions Den that is in the building. And definitely shout out to the Pride.
Yo, I was looking for a girl that was looking for me. And then I saw her and asked her if she wanted some tea. But I'll be honest, I also wanted more than just drinks. Maybe a couple baby crumpets and a trip to my beach house. Grab the chrome and take her home. And then we cap the dome, but take it slow. Cause I be liking every stroke of this brush we painting on the picture. Until she busted out the book and started giving scripture. I don't really mean to say, you like you were my closest cousin.
Had to play some of the old school music, what we consider old school music. But we're gonna mix everything in together now.
Get me out of here, I need a drink pronto. Catch a horse like the wind, call me Tonto. Hide away in the safe of a grotto. If this is a taste of my luck, I'm not playing the
Am I doing that now? Okay, great. I unmuted.
Shout out to everybody that's checking us out right now. Monday morning, February 22nd, y'all. Shout out to the Lions Den. Thank you so much for being here this morning. And make sure that you download that Voices app, y'all. The best way to do it is to search Action Sprout. Voices by Action Sprout. And it will come up. Once you come up, y'all, the thing that you need to do is put in that code. The code that you need to put in is... Give me 1 second while I find it.
It's all a bluff.
Hey, Ben or Rebecca, what's the code for Voices again? Or Dwayne, if you could throw up that the Voices still for me.
I've been thinking, 'cause I don't wanna waste my precious time. Always looking for the next best thing. Do it on your own this time around. So all you lucky ones, what up? You're always on the run, what up? I mean, don't get me wrong, but what up? Or was I not the one you dreamt of? No, 'cause the life will
Right, Dwayne. It's the dang on Gremlins this morning, y'all. Okay, cool. All right, y'all, here we go again. Make sure that you download the Voices by Action Sprout app. The best way to search for this is to search for Voices by Action Sprout. It will come up. It'll be like an orange box with a little squiggly line in it. Okay, so what you want to make sure that you do is download that app. Once you download the app, make sure you enter in our group code, which is 213-756, 213-756. Once you enter that in, you will be then in the Like It or Not app. You can send us in pictures, videos, clips, stories, whatever you have, and it may be played on the air. But in order to do that, you have to send it in. So make sure you download the app, put that code in, 756, and we will get y'all on the screen, y'all. It's Like It or Not. And here again, my brother from another mother, Benjamin Dixon.
Welcome back to Like It or Not. We're joined now by Chuck Modiano. He is a justice journalist and a sports writer for Deadspin, and he has been continuously on the ground covering stories that are not normally covered. Chuck, thanks so much for joining us this morning. How are you, brother?
After that Nabilah Islam interview, I'm doing great. That was like a double espresso shot, you know?
Yeah, man.
It was beautiful. And let me tell you, Nabilah Islam is the perfect name to run for office.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely, man. And listen, the energy that you get, hey, man, I love energy. Thank you for coming, and thank you for doing what you do. First of all, I know everybody in my orbit generally knows your work because we've been like supporting each other for years now. We were just talking about the last time we were on air together. You've been covering this stuff from a street level for a long time, and some of the most compelling narratives and stories that have come out, particularly of DC right now, because as you let it be known, the protest that started because of George Floyd this summer, they have not died down. Talk about that for a second.
Well, they have not stopped. They have not stopped after Joe Biden. And what a lot of people don't know outside of D.C. is that they've been thriving for months, about 9 months now. And the cameras went away and Washington Post went away. But the young people in the streets, they still been out there, and they still been fighting police terror and trying to change the budget in D.C. and trying to raise awareness to everybody in D.C. and outside of D.C.
I want to play, and I want to bring everyone into this conversation. I want to start with one of the clips, because you are literally on the ground catching this footage, and you capture this footage in peaceful protests, and you capture footage even when the cops create these riots, right? Let's be clear. Every quote unquote riot that we've seen has been instigated by the cops. I want to play clip 2 from some of your coverage, and then we'll discuss it.
Sure.
Fucking day for the past 200 some days, when we come out here with a Black Lives Matter action, you see police officers like this with riot gear at mutual aids, at jail supports. You see them with riot gear at vigils. You see them with riot gear at vigils. But yet armed insurrectionists came here, armed terrorists came here, and Capitol Police was waving them in, opening the gates and shit, welcoming white supremacy into the halls of Congress, because it already fucking lives there. And what we're fighting for is fucking equality. So that shit doesn't live there. That shit is not allowed in there. Equality, Black lives actually mattering, centering Black voices, making sure that Black mothers don't die. That shit is not in there. That doesn't live in the spirit of what this house fucking holds. Even though slaves built it. All those Black and brown hands bleeding built this shit. But yet, all these fucking white cackling ass faces are standing right here acting like this shit is a fucking joke. Fucking, there was a Confederate fucking flag and a fucking Nazi flag, a don't tread on me flag, 3%ers and actual white supremacists in the halls of Congress. We wanted to put banners on the fence, and this is the shit that we are dealing with. Anti-fascist banners. And this is the shit that we are dealing with. We can no longer say that fascism is not a part of who America is.
It is America, boo.
This is America. You see her.
Breathing.
This is the America that Black people have always lived in. This is not something new. This is not something out of the ordinary. This is, and to suggest otherwise is ahistorical. There have been other insurrections before this one. So please understand that the white supremacists will continue to try to overthrow as long as we try to get fucking equality. But motherfuckers like them help them win. And the reason why they are not stopping them, the reason why Congress is not stopping them is because when you uphold white supremacy, it doesn't threaten their power. But when you try to dismantle it, it sure the fuck does. Talk about it.
Yeah.
I'm fucking tired. I'm fucking...
Ooh.
Man.
I felt that. I felt that.
Tell us about that, sister. Tell us about that moment. Whew.
Well, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I've probably interviewed Ariana maybe 20 times over the summer. She's like so many amazing people. Like, how do you summarize it better than how she summarized it? It's impossible. And, you know, it's interesting. When John Lewis dies, we celebrate the John Lewis as we should. When a Fred Hampton movie comes out, we celebrate Fred Hampton as we should. And yet I see John Lewis's, Fred Hampton's, Ella Baker's, Fannie Lou Hamer's in the street every day in D.C. fighting for their lives. And we ignore them. Washington Post, nowhere to be found, the biggest paper. They have all the resources in the world. They could have been covering the brutalization of the protesters, including Ariana, who's been arrested twice, who's been targeted. I mean, there's some serious brutalization that has gone on, and they're not celebrated, if they even acknowledged. And that's why I appreciate so much what you're doing right now. I'm giving her that space.
Yeah. And Chuck, it's interesting to see that you've been covering this along with other things, but in merging all of those things together, like sports, and then getting out here on the streets to get these kind of stories out. And like you said, it's up to us, the people who have access to media, who have platforms, to shine the light on the Fannie Lou Hamers in the street, on the John Lewises, on the Martin Luther King Jr.'s. That's up to us. But how are you able to even tie that in together and stand in this moment and be a light and a pillar also in social justice? Yeah.
Well, this time it's easy for me. You know, in the past, I had to go to Ferguson. In the past, I had to go to Standing Rock. Or Charlotte's only a couple hours away. But this is right in my backyard. So, you know, I live right outside of D.C. So for the first time, you know, people were like, are you going to come to Portland and show what's going on there? I said, I don't need to go to Portland. They have about 10 great independent media individuals covering it very well. In D.C., we don't have expansive independent coverage, though I do want people to check out Black House News, who does some tremendous coverage as well, and there's some others. But we don't have that level of independent coverage. And what's worse is that the papers like a Washington Post ignores it. So DCS does some good work, but they're local and small. And I might even give a nod to NBC Local 4, who's done some decent work. But outside of that, you just have to go down there, put a camera in front of someone's face and say, why did you come out here? And then you get the magic that we just saw happen better than anything you will hear on CNN. That's what Ariana just gave us. The truth is in the street.
Absolutely. Yes, the truth is definitely in the street. And I'm glad that you hit in the streets, because it's not. And it's like, you know, for people, it's unbecoming to go out there and get those type of interviews, right? It's just for the social media or just for YouTube. But the truth of the matter is, people have moved away from mainstream media. Like, and there are people like what's her name, who worked in sports, who decided to leave sports because she wanted to discuss more politics. It's not coming to me right now, but Jamel. We know. Yes, Jamel Hill. For her to leave that and go out because she wanted to go into politics a bit more in depth, and she had to leave the mainstream to go into the social media platforms, because that's the new thing. We are not going to be capping voices, and you're showing that we got to get to the streets, because the people. Hearing from the people first is what really matters. And I thank you a million times, Chuck, for going out there and getting the magic that you got. But not only is it magic, it's truth. It's authentic. It's truth. It's relatable. So
Let's watch this next clip. Play clip 8, because I think this one is impactful as well.
Being at least a good 100 of Proud Boys. So as we were walking to our vehicles, they came and flooded the streets that we were walking on, and literally surrounded.
They had came out and started arguing with us and yelling and everything else. So there was 2 black women that were with me, who were out protecting Black Lives Matter Plaza with me, who they really harped in on, even though I was standing there.
I had one Proud Boy come up to me and tell me, he had his hand in his pocket, and I was like, whoa, what you have? He was like, something. He said, I got something to take every single one of y'all out, and it's going to be my goal to take at least as many of y'all out as I can. He was like, y'all going to die today. And I looked at him and was like, yo, you're talking about murder. You're talking about murder. And someone came up behind and was like, yeah, we'll take every single one of you out. And it was at that moment I knew, I was like, I'm going to have to fight for my life to get out of here. That you caught on camera punching me came up to me, he pushed me, I pushed him back off of me, and he followed up with a punch. I was lucky enough to see the punch coming, so I was able to move back a little bit, but not enough that he still hit me. I'm grateful that I moved back because I definitely would have been knocked out because he used all his might. Literally everything in him, he used to throw that punch.
Took a swing at one of the black women, and I immediately jumped into action, and it was a whole fight. I had to protect myself and do what I had to do in order to make sure that they were safe and that I was safe as well.
At them, they was like, "Oh, you're going to jail now," and so they grabbed me, they throw me on the ground, and this big guy, he puts his knee on my back, and I'm literally trying to tell them I can't breathe. My whole live footage caught that. I was saying I cannot breathe because his whole body was on the back. It took 4 officers to really arrest me. You see how small I am? I was running to save myself, and I got arrested. I was running from another person who literally caused me bodily harm and his partner, and I got arrested. Neither the person who was chasing me nor was the person who put his hands on me got arrested, but I did. That's our system.
It is our system.
I got nothing, Chuck. Talk to us about that, man.
I mean, that's our system. But specifically, we have to understand that she was arrested. The other gentleman you saw was arrested, and the Proud Boys weren't arrested. And the next part of my video that you don't see there is police standing over the Proud Boys who were assaulting and just let them walk away. Mm-hmm. And so we still want to get those arrests. In fact, one of the man who threw the punch has been ID'd as Nathan J. Moats. We're still trying to get him, just the same way we ID'd a lot of people after Charlottesville. So we want to get that man. Also,
I want to get that
it's
man.
a bigger issue. The bigger issue is January 6th didn't happen in any vacuum. Talk to any DC protester. They were warning everyone because the MPD stood down on November 14th when the Nazis came to town. The MPD stood down there on December 12th and sided with the Proud Boys. So what do you expect after the Proud Boys and the Trumpers were so empowered in November and December, even said as much on their chat boards and said they were coming in on January 6th? We knew that stuff was going to go down. We knew that they were going to storm the Capitol. What we didn't fully know is to the extent that police would let them.
Yeah. And getting the on the street word, getting the testimonies right then and there, showing and backing up the fact that those police officers let them, those police officers were complicit in what was happening. Those police officers stood by and tried to attack or did attack and arrest those Black protesters for what? They were not the same. They are not the same. But to see that, the first woman that you showed who was just like, I'm just trying to put up some words, a banner. We're just trying to literally be here and stand up for what we believe in, just like you allowed those terrorists to attack the building, right? to insurrect or whatever people are using nowadays, with those terrorists to go attack the building. And we're just trying to do something right. And here you guys are bringing your police presence that was not available during that whole terrorist attack. Why? Because of skin color? All because of skin color. And I know it sounds something so minute, but both of those stories showed us that it literally is because I am Black. I'm a target. I am Black. I'm a minority. And a woman at that, being attacked and thrown around as she was. It's disgusting. But this is what we're still living in. Not too long ago, like literally our whole nation was separated, not too long ago. And then before that, slavery and things like that. They want us to forget. We cannot forget because the system is literally drenched in this already. Yeah. And today we can see that with how they're dealing with younger folks. And it's like, when will it stop? But now we have the power to tell the stories, show the stories, and we're going to continue to fight. The passion that you have when you speak about it shows. And the passion that these younger folks have that are out there right now, it shows. And I'm glad that we can share our stories thanks to you. So, yeah.
Let's get one more clip in, Chuck, because let's run that. I think it's clip 10.
These clips are getting me fired up.
It's cool
But it ain't that cool because there was a lot of people out here. But I ain't see none of these people out here when we needed support. We was out here on the same plaza getting shot at with tear gas, rubber bullets, and all that, pepper spray and whatever. It didn't have this many people out here. But now, this joint was filled. This joint was filled all the way up to like damn near way down the DuPont Circle filled up. But we ain't never had that many people out here. We ain't never had any people out there protesting with us, except for that little one first weekend. That's it.
And you were, let you folks know, you were living in tents for weeks or months, right?
Yeah, we was occupying this space. Yeah, we occupied it for it was like 60 days straight. We occupied this space. Black Lives Matter Plaza, yeah. It was a lot.
And what do people need to know about that time?
Oh, I mean, I've said a lot throughout those months. I done did a few interviews with you. So, but what they need to know is pretty much it was brutal out here. We was out here, like I said, getting shot with tear gas, rubber bullets, pepper spray, all kinds of shit. We was getting hit with those, what are those things called? The flash bangs. I got hit with one in the leg. My friend got hit in the face with one and exploded on his face.
You were also arrested, I remember.
Oh yeah, and I also got arrested. I got arrested twice out here.
And doing nothing, I remember.
Yeah. So a lot is going on. Like it's a lot. Like I could go on. I could go on and on about what happened out here at Black Lives Matter Plaza. But yeah, it's odd to see so many people out here celebrating. It's weird because we was out here, getting shot at. Like this is a war zone to us, but they don't know that.
Wow.
They don't know that at all. To them, it was just a little party for the day. But they're not gonna be out here protesting with us tomorrow or next week. Or they wasn't out here last week or the weekend before that though.
And Chuck, what was that night? Was that the election night he's talking about, or what?
It was a night that it was officially announced Trump lost and Biden won. And what we saw that Saturday night, we saw people in the streets, and I would say including thousands of white people who came out during COVID to celebrate, to throw their arms in the air. And him and others were talking to that dichotomy. But where were you when we were, out here protesting? And where will you be? And 1 week later, the Proud Boys were in town to brutalize, and that crowd was not there, including amidst very misguided calls with white people with very large platforms to say stand down, who never spoke to any organizers in D.C. So a lot of people have felt abandoned since that time, seeing those numbers.
Hang on, let me make sure I heard you correctly. You said that there were calls from people with large platforms to tell the protesters to stand down. Did I hear that right?
You heard that absolutely. Yes, you heard that right. People with million followings who had no they had no connection to the organizers, and they used their platform. They said, stay away. They said the Nazis will go away on their own by osmosis. Don't give them the oxygen that they want, quote unquote. And what happened is they got so much oxygen that they stabbed people on November 14th. They beat people in December 12th. They tore down Black Lives Matter signs throughout the city. As my friend Black House News says, they made it a sundown town in D.C., and that led up and empowered them to January 6th. So when people talk about what protesters should do and how they should respond to Nazis, they need to talk to local organizers first.
Yes. Yes. They definitely need to talk to local organizers first. And I'm glad that you gave that background, because if we listen to him speaking, he was like, listen, it's cute, it's good and all that they out here, but they wasn't out here when this is the war zone for us. This is not a celebration area. Yeah. You don't come to Black Lives Matter Plaza and come here and utilize it to celebrate like the white folks are here celebrating as if something was won. No. Just a week ago, just a few days ago, not knowing that a week later, this will continue be a war zone for us. I have bullets. I've been arrested here. This is not a celebratory area. None of you guys fought with us. You fought maybe a day or two and left us for dead because you guys can't handle it and you don't understand what it's like to be Black in America. But you do think that because Joe Biden won, that means everything is good. It's not good for us. People still look at us like we are that we're inferior. We're Black. We don't deserve anything, right? So
Chuck, real quick, man. Just kind of speak to one. We're gonna have you back. as often as you can
For
come
sure.
back so that we can amplify
Great. Thank you.
all of this footage and all this coverage that you're doing, and so that you could share the energy and the passion from which you speak, right? You're speaking from a passion of a person who's in
And
these
get the real
streets.
stories.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. But just speak really quickly in terms of your work and where people can find out more about your work. And where they can connect with you and your work.
Sure. Well, really since post George Floyd, I've been doing most of my work on Twitter at ChuckModi1. I am also a sports writer. I write with Deadspin. I literally told my editor, I said, I'm going to slow down the next few months. I'm going to write a lot less. I have to be out in these streets. So that's what I've been doing. And in fact, the young gentleman, he pulled me in harder personally. He pulled me in harder to the streets because I was leaving at 11. I was leaving at midnight. And he was saying, Chuck, the police are beating us at 2 and 3 in the morning. That's when they're beating our ass. That's when they're raiding our tents. That's when they're stealing our belongings. That's when they're looting our belongings. It's happening between 2 and 3 in the morning after media leaves, after our phones die out, after we can't capture it. Can you please stay after 6? So myself and a couple other media members started to pulling overnights, but he was the main guy making that call for media to step up and try to, stay overnight and see what's really going on.
Wow. Chuck Modiano, thank you so much for your justice journalism and all of your work. And we'll have you back as often as you can come back, because we want to hear your voice as well as all the people that you're covering as often as we can.
Thank you so much. Thank you both. Much appreciated.
We'll come back after this brief break for more Like It or Not.
Shout out to Chuck Modiano. We greatly appreciate you, sir, for being in the building today, man. Just a pleasure having you. Open the eyes to a lot of things that I think a lot of people don't know is going on the streets. So it's good to have a voice and a person that's down there showing this stuff and showing that coverage. So shouts out to you. Greatly appreciate you being here. Definitely got to have you back, man. Just amazing. Big ups to everybody that's in the chat rooms, wherever you are streaming from. If you're not streaming, but you are, recording, that part too.
Uplifting attitudes, cause that's what we choose to do. And I don't know about you, but there's enough negativity going around with plenty room to improve. Yes, sometimes we collide with stress and negativity.
Thank you again, Chuck.
Let it slide. It's an elevated vibe, so fly. We touch the sky every time we ride. Big up, big up, big up to this crew here. We like to keep it positive, you know how we do. Big up, big up, big up to this crew. From day one till it's done, do or die, me and you. Big up, big up, big up to this crew. Yeah, we like to keep it positive, you know how we do. Big up, big up, big up to this crew. Got props non-stop and mad love for you. Now roll back time, tell me what you find. You're gonna see the same sucker MCs on the sidelines. In the fourth quarter when it's do or die time. That's when this crew is inclined to go prime time. From day one straight till it's...
Shout out to the Lions Den. Shout out to everybody that's in the Lions Den right now that's rocking with us. Y'all are able to see everything live and hear all our discussions. So shout out to you, and shout out to the Pride who is watching the restream of this, y'all. We really missed all this morning, but don't worry. We'll be back soon, y'all. Happy Monday to you.
Please allow me to introduce to you my one and only homies, yo, I love this crew. So please allow me to introduce to you my one and only homies, yo, I love this crew.
But you just couldn't be bothered. You never knew what love is about.
Okay, gotcha.
It gets because there is no doubt. There is something about.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, make sure that you download the Voices by Action Sprout app. How to do it is search for Voices by Action Sprout on your app store, either be it on Google or the App Store with Apple. Make sure that you download the app. Once you get the app downloaded, you can enter group code 213756. Again, code 213756. And what will happen is it will pull up the Like It or Not platform. From there, you can send in any pictures, videos, media, or whatever else is that you may have. And we'll give you a chance that we'll get it played on there, y'all. So make sure that you get that downloaded as soon as possible. It's Like It or Not, y'all.
Please leave me alone. I'm gonna miss you, but I'll be gone. You know I don't wanna fight ya, but there is something about ya that makes me wanna scream and shout. You left me hanging down.
Rebecca looks like she's about to go twirl around on the dance floor somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah, you see it. The top is giving.
The top is giving very much Donna Summer. Yes.
It's the shoulder. It's the shoulder. Oh, man. All right, y'all.
I like the song.
I do too. I do.
And I'm gonna tell, look, because I'm gonna tell y'all why, because y'all be all in my business anyway. Because no, I'm gonna leave it right there. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm gonna leave it right there. Because who knows how I'm gonna feel next week? So I'm gonna leave it right there.
It gives me cookout vibes. It gives me barbecue down during the summertime vibes. That song.
Yeah.
It's a happy breakup song. That's what it is. It's like a really, it keeps you in a good mood. Like it's a good.
This stuff that's on the internet is permanent. Okay, don't say anything. See how you feel.
Right, man.
I'll leave it there.
That said,
I don't like him this week. I might like him next week.
But listen, folks. We are going to we have one more clip that we want to play before we get out of here. Rebecca, it's going to be in your hands, but we're going to end this a little bit early because we want to get this stream out as soon as possible. Specifically, that interview with Nabilah Islam and Chuck Modiano.
Yes.
It was amazing. So. We aren't trying to shortchange you today, but we just want to make sure everybody hears it. So, Rebecca, it's in your hands.
So we are going to go into some grandma's hands. Now, when we talk about grandma's hands, they could do a lot of things like get up in the kitchen, whoop your ass, and a lot of other things. But this particular grandmother wanted to help out people in Texas who had no power. Let's take a look.
For all the people down in Texas, if you don't have any power, this is a hack for you. My grandma figured this out, so let's just get straight to it.
All you need is a 9-volt battery, a fountain pen spring, your charger, and a car charger. Plug your charger in, take your spring and put it on the negative side, which is the fat side. Plug your phone into the charger. Put the spring on the fat side. Put
MacGyver in that thing.
The charger on the round side, and then touch the parts together and watch the phone light up.
Boom.
See, charging, not charging. Charging. Now I don't know how you're gonna keep it charged. You might have to hold it for a little while, but you'll be all right. You'll get a charge. That's my life hack for my family in Texas that need some energy on their phones.
That's what's up. They never showed her face. I wanted to see what grandmama looked like.
That's Nana. Right. And look, and she probably told her grandson, hold the phone up. Tell the people for Nana that I'm gonna show them. So hi guys, my grandmother. It was so adorable. I loved it. I loved it so much. Look at grandma,
live that hack. That reminded me. You know what she probably no telling where she got her skill set from. So
but everybody was like grandma. Everyone was assuming grandma did time, and I'm like, is that what that is? Or she could have served, or she could have just picked this up from her living somewhere, maybe street life, not that kind of street life, but living in the hood. I had to be clear. But anything, it doesn't matter. She still wanted to use her gifts because God gifts us all in different ways. And she wanted to use her gift to help out people who were suffering in Texas.
More leadership in that video than I've seen from our politicians.
Speak on it.
Look, I don't want to rain on her parade.
Well, make sure they can hear you first.
No,
can they hear you?
Yeah,
okay, go ahead.
But a caution to people watching. We don't need the wrong people trying to MacGyver stuff and end up burning the house down, because I can see that
Thank you,
happening
Dwayne.
real fast. Somebody sparked the wrong
Thank you.
thing, and then you ain't got a house no more.
Listen, you safe with a 9-volt battery. Ain't nothing gonna blow up with a 9-volt battery. Matter of fact, you can get the D-size batteries, not the D, but what's the square? The big ones, like
the
they
C
safe with
ones.
that.
You know everybody don't listen, don't follow directions.
They don't. So please,
somebody gonna try that with a car battery or something, and that's gonna be it.
No, but well, see, I was gonna say like if because one of the first places I saw that done in movies, like, I mean, like this kind of stuff we used to do like when we were little with generators and little gadgets. But the Book of Eli, he took a whole car battery and charged up his iPod so that he could listen to some Al Green. Y'all know the Denzel movie, the one with the
I never watched it.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But he took a whole ass car battery and charged up his iPod so he could listen to some Al Green. So yeah, it's doable. Just if you don't burn your house down, folks. I don't see how you would do it with batteries, but you're right.
Know
You're right.
what the hell you doing. Just please know what the hell you're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
And shouts out to grandmas all across the world, the people who still have their grandmothers in their lives, precious kids, like the one doing the work for grandma, showing the world, showing some leadership, giving some help. Shout out to grandmas.
We got our Nana, and well, not my Nana, my kid's Nana, my wife's mother. We went and picked her up yesterday. They got their vaccines, and so she came to stay with us for a little while, and it's just a difference. Like, kids love their parents, but man, they love their nanas and their grandmamas.
Yeah. So. Look, R.I.P. to my grandmother, but yeah, you couldn't tell me nothing about my grandmother. Yeah. Couldn't tell me nothing.
Okay.
All of them.
Grandma used to give me that look out from underneath the kitchen's sink, that bottle of Ian.
Listen,
E&J.
Yes, Grandma.
Right. Listen, and it's the sharing. It's the share. It's the giving the money inside of a paper wrapped up.
Yeah.
And she hands it to you like this. Look, like Grandma, why are you trying to? What's going on? Then you open it up. Then you got to unwrap the paper. Then you find yourself either a $5 or $20 bill in there. She's just like, and she'll whisper in my ear like, make sure you in Creole, but make sure you do something good with that.
that whole dollar. Shout out my grandmother. Everybody usually has two. My one of them passed away when I was like 7. But when I was right before she passed away, she used to always come to our house and be like, "Why are you so quiet, Ben? Cat got your tongue? Cat got your tongue?" Or like she would not teasing me, but telling me to speak up. Tell him to speak out. And I remember like it was I don't know, maybe 20 years later, before I started doing any of this, I had a dream that I talked with her all night long until the morning came up, and I finally got my voice. And she was trying to tell me to get my voice back at 7. So shout out to Grandma.
I didn't know where that story was headed. I was like, is that abuse? But no. No, I got it.
Come on, like, I'm old.
No,
right?
I get it.
Well, no, you got to get the time frame. It was like 1987. So yeah, she could have slapped me across the head and it would have been okay. It wasn't abuse back then, but not in the black community. Back then it was like, cat got your tongue, but no. She was saying it in love. She was saying it.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to
Mama. From a time frame when we got paddled in school, so grandma here was just like whatever,
bro. hey, I've been, man. Yeah, we've been dealing with racism so long. I never forget my first paddling was because they thought we had a gang in 1st grade. They lined up nothing but black
I thought
boys.
That was like a Haitian thing.
No, they lined us up on the playground. A bunch of us black boys, and this white principal came through and paddled all of us because they said they thought we had a gang. So yeah, it was different.
That's some racist. Yeah. But anywho,
I'm so old. I got Negro on my birth certificate.
Oh, you are.
I was born in 1980 though. Dead ass.
Ben,
I forgot.
Ben, I hope you lying, dude.
No, I seriously got it.
78. Mine does have, I think, black on it.
I was born in
Alabama.
But I
was born in Alabama too. What part of Alabama?
That could have been
Montgomery.
I was born in Selma.
That's why, because he was born in Selma. They wasn't free yet. Yep. When will black folks be free? Anywho, listen, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you tune in here on Like It or Not every Monday through Friday from the 8:30 to 10:30 hour. We love you guys. Mina, thank you for rocking with us. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Like it or not. right, ladies and gentlemen, and make sure that you search for the Voices by Action Sprout app. Make sure you search for it. That way you can join our group on Like It or Not, and also send us in pictures, videos, clips, stories, or anything that you may have, and we can get that played on the air, y'all. So make sure that you download the app and search for our group code 213-756. Again, 213-756, y'all. Search for Voices by Action Sprout. Make sure you get that downloaded, y'all. And like usual, we will see y'all in the morning on Like It or Not. Thank you so much. Love y'all. Mwah! You can't see me, but I believe all of you a kiss.